Hello, my name is Caroline, but today you're going to know me as Cleo, as together we uncover the truths about myth, legend, and folklore. Across Western storytelling, we see stories about genies in a bottle, be it Aladdin, I Dream of Genie, or Christina Aguilera belting her heart out. However, the story of a genie didn't originate in Western culture, and it wasn't even called a genie. So where did it come from, and how did it morph into what we know now? Let's travel back to the beginning and discover the origins of the Jinn. The Jinn has several spellings of its name, the original being Jinn, the romanticized version Jinn, and then Genie, which is where the anglicized version Genie came from. While genies show up in many forms across Western media, I'm not gonna show that. It's highly stereotypical, insulting to the culture, and at times straight up racist. What I will show you are representations by writers and creators who the culture actually belongs to. Jinn, the Netflix series created by Mirjeen Bhattacharya, Alan Dasani, and Rajiv Dasani. Jinn by Sankhroma, In Ember in the Ashes by Sabatir, and the 2018 film Jinn, written and directed by Nilja Mumin. The origins of the Jinn trace back to the pre-ancient world in 14,000 BCE, when Mesopotamia, Babylon, Akkadian, Syria, Sumeria were forming civilizations that would be known as the modern-day Middle East region. They were at war with their neighbors, Arabia, which on a map now is Western Asia, and it was this civilization that we got our first limited writings and images of the Jinn. These civilizations were the origin of the Jinn, and it's believed the people had strong beliefs in nature spirits. As time went on, the Jinn became more powerful. They began concealing their forms in flame. A Jinn would hide in a merciless storm, wreaking havoc in the sky. At this time, some people viewed them as gods, and others viewed them as a lower deity to the nature spirits, kind of like the muses compared to the rest of the Greek pantheon. But honestly, it didn't matter whether people called them a god or not. People feared and revered them. Caroline Ford of Arkansas University states that at this point in time, the distinction between spirit and god were largely undefined. In many legends, Jinn would appear with animalistic features. She goes on to state that the Jinn's final state of evolution happened during the first and second millennia. Up on that trail, Vincent Hale, author of Gods and Goddesses of Mesopotamia, states, "This age was characterized by a growing emphasis on personal religion involving concepts of sin and forgiveness. This era of Jinn becomes extraordinarily less powerful. They're no longer seen as immortal beings or gods or even lesser gods. They've lost even the muse status. This change seems directly rooted in the changing beliefs in the region at the time and the way the people began to view collective responsibility over personal responsibility, forgiveness and sin. Some jinns were viewed as evil beings, harbingers of punishment. The best thing to compare this form of jinn to would be a demon. It's not an exact comparison, but for Westerners, it's the closest example. Jinn would hand down divine punishment, famine, disease, and floods. Sumerians called them Kudan, which loosely translates to creature of darkness, or one who finds their home in Kur, which is the equivalent to hell or the underworld to the Sumerians. Now, others at this time saw the Jinn as intermediaries between human and the divine, who we know in modern day Islam as Allah. These Jinn were depicted with wings, humanoid bodies, and bird-like features, representing their ability to fly between worlds. This carving is one of the incredible historic images preserved from the ancient city of Assyria, which is now modern-day Iraq. This is from the palace walls of King Sargon II, depicting a winged jinn and his gesture representing him gifting a blessing. It's astonishing how well preserved this piece is. but I won't lie, my heart breaks seeing this piece sitting in the Louvre. As gorgeous as that museum is, it and many other museums across Europe and America contain pieces of art from countries that were literally stolen. I just hope there's a day when those pieces are returned to the people of their homeland and they get to appreciate their stories and culture on their own terms. Many people don't realize there are many similarities between the Quran, the Bible, and Torah. If you're curious about digging deep into the subject, I recommend looking into the Abrahamic religions. I'm here to talk about folklore, not religion, because honestly, just this one subject would take like an entire video series. So one of the basic similarities that these three religions share is the beginning. Genesis, to be specific. Each one believes in creation. God created Adam and Eve, put them in the garden, and then there was deception. Now, this is where it gets curious and Jinn comes into play. The Torah and the Christian Bible are similar yet different. The story plays out with the serpent deceiving Eve and she eats the fruit. Rabbis have explored the Torah texts in detail and honestly it's very intriguing. I'll be linking an article below if you want to check that out. The Quran is where the Jinn come into play. The Quran follows the belief of creation and this passage covers the fall of Iblis, or Satan as we might better know him. And surely we created you and then gave you shape. And we told the angels prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated, except Iblis. He refused to be of those who prostrate. Allah said, "What prevented you that you did not prostrate when I commanded you?" Iblis said, "I'm better than him. You created me from fire, and him you created from clay." Allah said, "Oh, Iblis, get down from this paradise. It is not for you to be arrogant here. Get out, for you are of those humiliated and disgraced." Quran, Ayah 7, 11 through 13. So from this point on in the Quran, from what my research is telling me, Jinn seems to be a term to describe what we would know as fallen angel or demon. It's not an exclusive term. There's also use of the word devil, demon, even Satan is used for Iblis. But Jinn doesn't seem to be used for any creature outside of the underworld. Islamic beliefs state that Jinn have the ability to choose right from wrong. Many simply don't. These Jinn can be described as ifrit, which isn't a subclass so much as a description that means malicious, sly, or wicked. But like I said, not all of them are malevolent. There are Jinn who choose not to be evil, actually guiding humans, teaching them moral lessons, providing them help in times of need. Jinn appear across many parts of Asia and even reaching parts of Africa. In Morocco, it's believed Jinn are the souls of murdered innocents. And in Egypt, it's believed they can possess a person and cause terrible disease. It's not an uncommon belief that they can possess a person. It's widely believed among Muslims that a Jinn can possess a person. To the point that I even found a paper published in a medical journal exploring the possibility that possessions were real because they didn't know how to help patients that were coming in. The doctor was actually attempting to search for a solution, which was much better than some of the doctors he was quoting, which were basically calling the patients crazy. I'll also link that below for anyone interested in reading it more in depth. As for possessions, do I actually believe they're real? Honestly, yes. Do I believe it's Jinn? I think different cultures have words for the same thing, you know? So, in a way, maybe. I've seen things that are supernatural that cannot be explained any other way that I don't wish to mess around with ever. And, you know, there are people who are gonna call me crazy, and that's fine. I understand that. But I know what I've seen, what I've experienced, and I don't plan to go near that ever, so. But all that really matters at the end of the day is what you believe. And what I hope you take away from this most is respect. Respect for other cultures and beliefs. Even if you don't agree, we can still show people love and respect. And these stories sorely need more of that. Special shout out to Aisha, my girl across the pond. I love you. I thought of you the whole time I was making this video, and I hope I did you proud. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what myth, legend, or folklore you would like me to cover next. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!